There we go. That's how it works. You have to turn on the microphone and then start talking, not the other way around. Hello, welcome to Church Has Glasses. It's Kirk Has Glasses on Sundays, and it's more PowerWash Simulator. Look, it massages the brain and de-stresses the body. I'm gonna keep playing it. Good morning to Squirtle. Anybody else watching? I don't really have any hot takes, or I don't have any rants for this morning's sermon, really. Well, I guess I should announce, if you go to the profile on Twitch right now, there's a link to the Extra Life page. I officially signed up. I plan to do 24 hours on November 4th, I believe the day is. I believe that is game day. November 4th, Saturday, 24 straight hours of stream to raise money for Children's Miracle Network, children's hospitals. Because as you know, kids can get sick too, and it's not cool, because they're young. They should experience life before it starts kicking them in the face. Still not sure what I'm going to play. I'm going to work on a list of possibilities later today, after some errands and some other stuff. But the plan is to either come up with 24-hour stream of game, a single game, or 24-hour stream of possibly movies, because I haven't done that before. But I don't know if that would be as fun as the game. You should play the Lego Star Wars games. I've actually played some of them already. I have played some of them. And what's very strange is I don't dislike the Lego games at all. I just don't know if I could sustain my enjoyment of them for 24 hours. It was easy to do because the last couple times it was South Park, BioShock, Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah, I think it was South Park, then BioShock 2. No, it was South Park, then Red Dead Redemption 2, then BioShock 2 and Minerva's Den. And I'm sure I could do it. Also, and I don't mean to be a dick about this, and maybe that's what the quote unquote sermon talk and or rant will be about. I don't want to do anything with Star Wars. Like I don't want Star Wars in my life anymore, unless it's the original trilogy on like VHS. Like I don't even want to deal with it, and it has nothing to do with Star Wars itself. It has everything to do with everything surrounding Star Wars. And I'm not trying to be above it all and say like, oh, it's just a commercial product. Like I buy fucking Legos. I buy molded bricks that represent nostalgic things or just random objects. So like I'm not even trying to do it like that. It's just Star Wars seems to bring nothing but grief now. It's just debates and arguments about them. And I don't know, like because I entertained the idea of possibly playing was it Jedi Survivor, the game that's supposed to be like Dark Souls but with the lightsabering, and then it's just like no, I'm not gonna do it. I heard a review of it from like one of the few reviewers of games that I actually listened to, and I was just like, you know, and they said like, oh, and there's a cameo with a big Star Wars character, and I was like, well, of course there is. And that's the thing that's annoying about Star Wars. Like, they're incapable of making a new idea without pissing off people, and they're incapable of retreading the old ideas without pissing people off. And it's like, it's just not worth it anymore. And I know that I don't have like and there's not even like a lot of people watching the stream to really have their opinions like pop off while playing it, or even on even in the 24-hour stream, I doubt there'd be a windfall of people coming in and talking about it. It's just like I don't know. Star Wars, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth now, and I just don't want to even. I don't want to participate in that tasting. To bring it back to the metaphor. It's not a bad suggestion, because there's like 9 of them now, right? Because they did the sequels too. So you can do episode 1 through 9. Which I haven't even seen 9. I heard it's awful, but I just haven't seen it. Did it seem like I just shat all over your suggestion, Squirtle? Because I didn't mean to. I don't know, there's something about Star Wars now where it's like, you can't even mention it without bringing somebody's trauma into it. If that makes sense. Like, it's so much more than just a brand now, but it's lost its standing as like cultural juggernaut because of its oversaturation. At least in my opinion. I haven't seen any of the Star Wars movies after the OG trilogy, to be honest. Really? And I don't want to be a guy that poo-poos on people's experiences or what they want to do, but it's almost like that's a good idea. Just be happy with that. Because I think the sequels are fun and funny because it's like such a weird trajectory after making those original movies. But the sequels are just like, yeah, this is Disney going like, oh my god, we have Star Wars, let's make Star Wars. And it's like, well, I don't know, man. I don't know what Disney's doing. I don't know if they know what they're doing. But they make more money than I do. The Han Solo movie? I have not seen that one. I have not seen that one. But yeah, like I said, I got a list going, because I have games, thanks to like PlayStation Plus and Steam sales, like I just have games that I have never touched, because it's like, oh, that was free? Sure, I'll put it in my library. Or, oh, that was 50 cents? Sure, I'll put it in my library. I'll play it eventually, and I just never touched it, so... There's a list of stuff that is already paid for, or I already own, somewhat. So it's like, why would I go buy something? And there's also the possibility that we just do a 24-hour movie marathon of public domain movies, because that could be fun. Go back and revisit some of the hits, because I mean, like I do a new movie, and at one point I was doing 2 movies a week. So you do a movie or 2 movies a week for at least, 2 years? Maybe a year and change? And you find some good ones and then you just never watch them again. So maybe go back and revisit some of the good ones. Maybe throw in a couple of stinkers just to kind of mix it up. The possibilities are endless. And that's still November 4th of this year for the Extra Life 24-hour game day stream. I'm thinking maybe do movies because like so many other people are doing games, you know? Do something different for the people and the children. Like I said, I'm working on that list. It's November 4th. I'm going to be guesting on some podcasts coming up. One is The Link with old homie and a current homie. I mean, they're no longer a homie. That seems weird. The Link with Ben Moyer. And Mike... Oh my gosh. I feel bad. I cannot remember his last name. Oh, I feel bad. I gotta say the full name. I said the full name of the other guy. What's Ben's podcast about? Well, they interview different content creators of any size. So of course they since Ben knew me, he's like, hey, I'll throw you a bone with your small group. Also, hi Felix. With your ragtag band of homies. the link with Ben Moyer and Mike Miller. Basically just talking about what it's like to make stuff. What it's like to deal with an audience, what it's like to deal with possible sponsorships. I have no idea what that's like. I won't give away exactly. I won't give exactly what mine was about, but mine had more focus on what it's like to just make things forever, but not really get into the rat race of social media marketing because kind of hate it. So it's thelink.fm. It's on Spotify. They have 2 episodes out right now. Listen to the first one. I have not listened to the second one yet. But, yeah, he told me about some interviews they got coming up. And it just seems like they're going to interview interesting people that make stuff on the internet. And what's not interesting about that? And then I'm also going to be on, oh my gosh, I can't even remember the name of Gentleman's Podcast. I've done one of his episodes before, but hold on one second. I want to get the name. It's the Jacked Up Review Show podcast, but they seem to put out an episode, I think, like, if I remember correctly, like every 4 days. The Jacked Up Review Show podcast. I did one episode with my brother. Oh my gosh, Felix. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully it gets better for you. We did an episode of the Jacked Up Review Show podcast about NYPD Blue and NYPD Blue Balls, which is the podcast I do with my brother about NYPD Blue, the best cop show ever made, in my opinion. We're actually going to be talking about, because the guy who runs that show, Cam, he randomly emailed me a couple of months ago and was like, did you know that they made tie-in mystery novels about NYPD Blue? And I was like, sir, I have no idea. And so I straight up looked for those books because it's a show that people don't really talk about anymore. So you can imagine tie-in novels are probably not in high demand, and there were not a lot left. And I paid a little bit more than I should have for a paperback book for one of them, which was the better of the two. And then there was a fun moment when, because my dad and obviously my brother watches NYPD Blue, we do the podcast together, but my dad also enjoyed the show. And I told him about these books, and he's like, "Oh, I wouldn't mind reading them." So I let him borrow one, and then I thought I already gave him the second one. And I went to talk to him. He's like, "Hey, you gonna give me that second book?" And I was like, "I already did." He's like, "No, you did not. I do not have that second book." And so I started looking, and I couldn't find it. And then I looked it up, and that book went to like $300 on Amazon because there was literally only one left in like some random secondhand bookstore. And I was like, I better find this goddamn book because I'm not paying $300 for this book just to have it. Luckily I did, but hot damn, I was like, this book is worth some coin if somebody's trying to sell it for like $250. I don't know who would buy it from them, but so yeah, that podcast will be about I guess because that Jacked Up Review Show has so many specific episodes. There's gonna be a podcast about novels that tie into television shows. And I'm going to come on to talk about the NYPD Blue novels, which is it's interesting. It's such a very specific thing. But hey, why not? You might be among the first people to talk about those books. Well, it's one of those things where it's hard. It's hard to explain just how popular NYPD Blue was in America when it came out in like 92, 93. It was the hit. The first season of NYPD Blue had the record. It had the record for the most Emmy nominations of a season of a television show. It would eventually be beaten by the last season of Game of Thrones, which people hate. So I'm really annoyed that's what beat it. Because I don't care if you beat I really don't care if you beat that record, but honestly, don't do it with a season that people don't like. Like, that doesn't make any sense. It also was ABC's longest-running drama until Grey's Anatomy just refused to die. But over here, CSI and Law & Order are pretty big, but I don't think NYPD Blue was ever a thing. Yeah, CSI and Law & Order are they're obviously the more successful. Like, there's no doubt. I just have a personal love of NYPD Blue. I think it's written better. I think it has a little more substance to it, a little more character. But that's just my opinion. But it was the thing. Like, it hit super hard, and it was one of those things where everybody was kind of watching where that show was going to go and was kind of very invested in it. So I think the novel idea was like, well, we got to capitalize on this heat, on this hot heat we got going on for NYPD Blue. So they tapped a guy who wrote a bunch of novels, and they're all like, hey, can you write something based on this show? And he did. I think his name's Max something Collins. Max. Can't remember. It's Max. I think it's Max. But I mean, I'll talk about it on the on that podcast episode. But it is a very, very strange experience to read characters that I have watched 12 seasons of, like 261 episodes or something. Characters I know backwards and forwards in this one context be in another medium, and something they do happens that you're like, that's not them. It's just very funny because you've seen like literal days of content about this character, and you watch it or you're reading, and then they do something and you're like, yeah, that's not them. They would never do this. They would never say this. It's just very it's very interesting. And just in book form, I mean, because depending on how you read, like if you read a book based on, or you read a book that then goes on to a big movie franchise, you picture those actors maybe doing the things in the book. But in this, because there is so much built-in memories of this show, when reading the book and they like describe where they go, you're like, got it. Like every inch of what they're talking about in terms of setting is just like, yeah, I know exactly what that is. I know exactly what that looks like. I know the feel of what's going on in this scene because of this. I know this character that they're talking about. It's very strange. It's a very strange experience. But I'll stop there because this isn't the Jacked Up Review Show podcast. This is Church Has Glasses. So yeah, that's going to be coming up. There's a couple of weeks until I record for that. I know he schedules pretty far out, so it'll be a while before that hits. But of course, NYPD Blue Balls is now happening every other Tuesday. I think we got the schedule down. So what time will the 24-hour stream start? A great question. My plan is to start at midnight of the 4th. So it'll be Saturday the 4th. My plan is to start midnight on the 4th and then carry it till midnight the 5th and then turn it off. It's a very interesting set of circumstances because there's also a concert that is happening on the 3rd, on the Friday, before that Saturday, that is a band that my brother and I both have wanted to see for almost 20 years. Because they broke up when my brother was in high school, and he graced me with their album, and then about a year or two ago, they just dropped an EP and said, "Oh, we're getting back together," and we were like, "Holy shit, this is the greatest thing ever!" And when my brother moved back to California, or before my brother moved back to California, he did say, like, I'm thinking about getting a plane ticket just to go see them because I want to so bad. And they announced a show that's happening the Friday before this stream, and I'm like, ooh, that's going to make me tired. Because if I go to that concert, by the time I get home, based on when that concert will start and how long it takes to drive, I'm wondering if will I be starting the stream right as I get home from that. But then that also means I probably went to work beforehand, and I got up and went to a concert, and then come back and then have to start a 24-hour stream. So I don't know exactly how it's going to work out. I might change the time to, you know, but that's the thing. Like, that's the thing about the Extra Life stream. You should start it later in the day so you can get rest. But the thing I worry about then, Squirtle, is I appreciate when that stream ends at midnight on Sunday and I just turn it off and go to bed. I can get a full night's sleep, and then I have an entire day to, like, reset, do things that I need to do, even if I want to rest. You know what I'm saying? Even if I just don't want to do a damn thing after that, I have a whole day to do that. If I start it later in the day, that means I'm going to be cutting into the Sunday, and I'll need to sleep right after. And I don't know. It seemed like the best way to kind of get back in rhythm, because, you know, I go to sleep at midnight, wake up 8 or 9 a.m., maybe 10 a.m., go about the day like it's normal, and then I'm kind of back on rhythm. I don't know. A lot to think about. Don't have to worry about it right now, because it's literally a month and a half from now, so we'll figure it out. But the plan right now started at midnight of the 4th, because that's the whole day. That is the day, midnight to midnight. I just enjoy the idea that I do not do this on any day but game day. Because people were spreading it out, you know, as it got more popular. They said, you know, 24 hours doesn't have to be consecutively. You can break it out over the week. And I'm like, no, that's bullshit. Just drink a lot of coffee or cocaine or something. Or mix the cocaine with your coffee. You know, whatever it takes. You know, it is interesting, because this last time I did it, I really felt the sting of it towards the end. The last time I did it, I remember getting to a point where it was like, oh, this is getting rough, dude. Like, it was getting real hard. So, you know, we'll see what happens. Maybe as I get closer, I'll just have to change it up a little bit. But as of right now, the plan is 24 hours, midnight of the 4th. So yeah, I've learned that with my stream, I should probably do the plugs. So it was like, I should mention, you know, NYPD Blue Balls is back. If you have any interest in watching NYPD Blue, I know in America it's on Hulu and Amazon Prime. I think it's on Disney Plus in some other countries. Because it's owned by ABC, and Disney Plus is a little less strict out there in the wild, so I think it might be on Disney Plus in some places. But that's coming back every other Tuesday. Check out the link.fm on your podcast platforms as well. That's old buddy Ben talking to creators and such. And my episode is going to be coming up fairly soon. But also, I think in October. But also, if you want to check out the podcast I did on the Jacked Up Review Show, you just have to go to the Jacked Up Review Show podcast and look up NYPD Blue. I'm sure we're on there still. They have tons of episodes. I want to offer promotion of your channel. Views and viewers. Price lower than any competitor. Blah, 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 blah. Non-profitable. Yeah, you know what's interesting? Gone. So... where was I? See, that gosh darn spam screwed me up. It screwed me all the way up. It was right there. Oh yeah, and I felt like I should mention the link to the Extra Life page is already up on Twitch in the About Me section. It's also on my link tree, which is now linked on the it's now linked in the Twitch links with all the other socials and whatnot. The Discord, the TikTok that I don't really use that much anymore, but who knows? I might one day. The Instagram, which I mostly just post when streams are going to be happening. Remind everybody what's being played or what's being watched. But I definitely recommend joining the Discord. We have some fun in there, you know? And it's not overwhelming. I've joined some Discords where it's just like blinding with so many people and so many random conversations, but this one, you know, pretty low-key, chill. We enjoy puns and gifs and puns. Yeah. Other than that, we're gonna play some PowerWash Simulator. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to kind of announce / ask questions / warn everybody. October. It's the spooky month, as we all know. Month of Halloween, scary times. I'm thinking October, we're doing scary games. We're doing horror games. We're going to torture me for the sake of torturing me. I think I have one picked out that's a little bit lighter on the horror that I'm gonna probably play on Wednesdays because it actually looked kind of interesting to me, and then I heard it wasn't that bad, so I think that's what's gonna happen for Wednesdays. But I think I'm gonna shelve PowerWash Simulator on Sundays for something else, but I don't know what yet. Kind of saying you can suggest games. Maniac Mansion? What even is that, Shadow? Also, good morning. What is Maniac Mansion? Is that a game? Sounds like... wait, hold on. I think I've actually heard of it before. Maniac Mansion. Maniac Mansion. It is $6. Oh, shit. Holy crap. Oh, it's a Lucasfilm game. That's why yeah, that's right. I feel like he'll spend most of it trying to figure out the obtuse 1990s point-and-click puzzles. Yeah, I'm looking at a trailer for it now, and I have a feeling I would get real frustrated. Oh, dear Lord. Yeah, this game would drive me insane. Everything moves so slow. And it's all point and click. And I know there's, like, adding and using objects that make absolutely no sense. You can put a hamster in the microwave? Well, Shadow, you're trying to sell me so hard. Yeah, no offense, I don't think I'd play Maniac Mansion, but I'm bringing it up again to basically say, if you have suggestions, it's also very in the 90s, video game devs felt like there was less sense a puzzle made, the better it was. And it was before the internet was big enough that you could just go, what is the answer to this? Someone just give me an answer to this. We'll be inundating you with traumatizing suggestions. And of course, I'm sure I have some saved, much like the 24-hour stream. I have games in my library that I got, maybe because they were cheap or maybe because someone gifted them, that it's like, oh, I just haven't played these. That, you know, could possibly play as well. So, scary games in October. With that said, also all the movies have been picked out for the next couple weeks, but I think I'm going to be switching up to horror movies as well. But because they're public domain horror movies, it's much less really scary and more cheesy and ridiculous and weird, so nothing to be scared about there. But yeah, so tons of stuff to look forward to on the stream. Hopefully you can join me there. But we gotta play some PowerWash Simulator, because we're not doing the scary stuff. We're doing the calming, soothing sounds of high-pressure water on dirty surfaces. That's what we're up to right now. Oh, that's right, and I gotta clean this huge-ass subway station. Ooh, boy. Speaking of traumatizing situations, I watched The Flash. Which, honestly, I didn't think was as bad as everybody made it out to be. Did I not save? Oh, okay. About to say, I definitely started cleaning one of these corners. I was gonna be pissed if they're about to tell me that it's not clean. Okay. I always have to kind of remember how to play this. But yeah, I think The Flash got a bad rap. I know that it doesn't look very good. I know that it's spamming the multiverse cameos with older characters and different versions of the same character shtick that is now becoming extremely popular. And the CGI was supposedly intentionally ass, but I don't think it was a bad movie. I think it just, you know, when you have a monster in your movie, a literal monster, it's gonna bring down the watchability of your movie. One of the reasons I don't think I'll be able to watch That 70s Show ever again. It's DC. It had a lot going against it, though. Essentially, the person playing the main character started popping off and doing a bunch of illegal shit before the movie came out, and they kept pushing it back to try and not be a PR nightmare. And then it kind of just all came to a head. Then they realized, like, well, we're just going to be losing a bunch of money on this anyway. So we're going to have to just accept that and put it out. And, well, they certainly did. And the director came out and said that the CGI in the movie, which is pretty bad. I'm not going to sit here and pretend it isn't bad. It's pretty bad, but he came out and said the CGI was bad on purpose for an artistic reason. And I'm starting to smell a rat that the CGI wasn't finished when the lead actor started popping off and doing crazy shit. So they just cut their losses and said, well, hire a shitty VFX house because why would we spend a bunch of money on this movie we know is not going to make it because of the controversy? And I think the same kind of thing might be happening with Aquaman because of Amber Heard. So, yeah, if you want to have an interesting time, look up The Crimes of Ezra Miller. If you want to get a good look at the crazy shit that guy's been up to. Putting minors in danger, weapons charges. Yeah, not a good move. I just felt bad for the director because that dude directed the It movies, which I thought were actually pretty good. Call me crazy. I thought both It movies were pretty good. And he said he didn't want to just make a superhero movie. He wanted to make a movie about a family in crisis, and I think he did a decent job. It's just, powers outside of his control really screwed it up. And I think I've said it before on the stream. I think you're really shooting yourself in the foot if you want to make It movies and you make a movie that's just about the kids first. Because if you've read that book, the way the book is set up, if you do just the kids, then you have really nowhere to go for your other movies. Because the adult shit is mostly the adults going back to remember what happened to them as kids, to unlock that trauma, as it were. So when you make a whole movie about the kid stuff, and then you start the adult movie, you're kind of going like, okay, so what are the adults going to do? Because if we just have them remember what they did as kids, then we're just replaying the first movie. But yeah. Anyways. But yeah, The Flash. Not as bad as people are making it out to be. It just might be maybe too little too late after all the controversy and the nonsense. And then they made that Blue Beetle movie, which did not perform very well. So DC, they're going into their restart, probably with a good feeling, because the movies that they were working with weren't doing that great anyway. I still need to see Barbie, though. Oh, the bitch. I know it's available to pay money to see in your homes. I know that's happening. It is not available yet on a streaming service I already own. Was that an ad for the... Was that an ad for the carnival that I was working at? Oh, shit. Look at that. Lore. Oh, man. Oh, there was graffiti on there. Probably said something really funny. Hold on. Oh, and it auto-saves, so never mind. I'll have to check it out later. Darn it. Barbie trailers make it look like the Smurfs movies. I don't know. I think, from what I heard, it's actually pretty good. I've heard that from multiple sources that I trust, so I'm gonna see it. It's just a question of when. I did see Oppenheimer. I was like that seems like a topic I'm very interested in, and all the actors I hear are in it are good. And Christopher Nolan, you know, sometimes his movies are whatever, but they always look pretty great. So you're gonna get something out of it. And that was a good movie. I thought it was pretty dope. Pretty dope. It's true that Oppenheimer is mostly Cillian Murphy sex scenes. No, because it's like 3 hours. I think it's 3 hours exactly, if I remember reading the runtime correctly. And he has 2 or 3 sex scenes. It's not that bad. You do see Florence Pugh naked, which, you know, maybe that's what we could talk about. Nudity in movies is such a weird thing because it really is unnecessary. Like, yeah, obviously you can't censor it and you can't tell people what's right and wrong in terms of art, but it, like, looking back, it's like the nudity in movies is so unnecessary. There's absolutely no necessary reason for nudity. Except maybe to get asses in seats to see your movie before the internet provided porn at any moment at your fingertips. I hate Nolan hard pass. Yeah, I will agree that some Nolan is like okay, I'll pass. For example, I watched Tenet and I was like, you know what? I'm good. Totally good. Don't need this. I kind of understand what you're doing here. I don't think it's that cool or clever. And I think you're spending a whole lot of money on this idea when you could make like a small indie movie with this idea and make it make way more sense and way more watchable than this like convoluted, confusing thing. How necessary is nudity in the internet age? People talk about how cell phones change films. What about the porn? Well, it's like, because porn, when you think about it, like, humanity is always looking for ways to get its rocks off, right? Like, you can't stop pornography because it's just so ingrained in us. Like, there's been pornography forever and illicit material. But, like, when you made it just so easily accessible and available, then what happens is everything wants much like with almost anything, now you want it specialized. You want your specific kinks taken care of. So it's like, now porn, it's like, okay, well, what specialized thing do you want? Like, what do you need to, you know, keep you happy? That's what porn has kind of turned into. But Hollywood, like, it used to be kind of a situation where it's like, oh, wow, well, we'll go to the horror movie because it'll be fun, interesting kills and maybe some comedy, and we'll definitely see some boobs and maybe some lower parts. But nowadays, it's like, why even do that? Like, what is the point? And even with your arty, like, dramas, it's like, what is the point of doing these nude scenes? Like, what is the point? Like, and it's almost like their idea, like, well, it's going to be rated R anyway. We might as well have some boobs in this. And it's like, you don't need it. You don't need it. I don't know. early dramas used to do nudity because it was daring and subversive, but it really isn't anymore. Yeah, like there is a scene in Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I thought was a pretty damn good movie. I thought it was pretty dope. But there was a scene in it where it was like, okay, this it's for comedy. It's kind of like absurd, like completely over the top, like Rick and Morty level, random and kind of dumb. But it feeds into like the whole feeling of the movie, and it was sexual in nature, and it was also like, if I remember correctly, they had to censor it literally a certain way so that it wasn't considered actual pornography and got an NC-17. And I'm like, if you're doing shit like that, then come on, rewrite it. Like, I don't know if that really makes your point anymore, but I mean, that movie won Best Picture, so what do I know? And honestly, like I think there is merit to showing like a real life experience, you know? Like, okay, well, this is what it's like for people of this age at this time dealing with these types of feelings and this type of stuff. I get that. But like the idea of like, oh, well, we're really going to have a sexy scene here, you know. We're really going to titillate. It's like you're wasting your fucking time. Like, if your movie is 2.5 hours long and you have one of those scenes, you shouldn't have one of those scenes. And I don't even think Oppenheimer really does that. It's like they just made the choice to have a character naked in a certain scene, and you're just like, it wasn't necessary, but I mean, you know, you do what you do, man. I just watch the movies. At least Nolan makes strong female characters. Memento, dead wife. Dark Knight, dead girlfriend. Inception, dead wife. Interstellar, dead wife. I bet Oppenheimer had a good relationship with his significant other, right? Well, he cheated on her, and then the woman died, that he cheated with. And then his wife was an alcoholic. So not great. But there were a lot of women involved in the Manhattan Project that were, I felt, kind of highlighted pretty well. So that's something. You know, they helped make the atomic bomb. Yeah. All right. So yeah. Like, my brother and I were talking about how he's going through the Friday the 13th movies, that are on HBO Max. And each one of those movies clearly had a boob and drug use ratio that you had to hit until I got to like the sixth one, which they were like, you know, maybe we should have, you know, no boobs and no drugs. And then I think that movie tanked because then they brought back all of the titties and drugs for the installment after that. And it's like, if you were to you're making those kind of horror movies now, you just have to do shit that's shocking, not necessarily sexual and titillating, because it's like, yeah, you cannot compete with what everybody has at the tip of their fingers. But But yeah, it's just... Whose boobs did we see? Well, past tense, good morning. Happy Sunday to you. We were talking about how, you know, movies used to have nudity in them, and that was kind of like daring and pushed the limit. You have to be Amish to get turned on by the amount of tits in Hollywood film can get away with showing. Well, like, I was watching, I watched The Punisher and Punisher Warzone recently. And in The Punisher, the Thomas Jane, John Travolta Punisher, there is very little, like, brutal, gory action in that. Airplane had perfect amount of nudity. like it had very little, like, gory, intense action scenes, and it's like, well, that's what The Punisher is. But it didn't really have that much cursing. Like, it felt like a PG-13 movie, but then there was just one scene with, like, a random pair of boobs. And I'm like, that is stupid. Because now your movie is rated R, and you have nothing else to show for it. Warzone is with Jigsaw, right? Yeah, and Looney Bin Jim. Yeah, Warzone is pretty dope. The John Travolta one is like, it's pretty not good. Thomas Jane was all right in it, but I just think, man, they really screwed it up. They really, really, really screwed it up. Thomas Jane or Kevin James? Ripped off the ending by having the logo on fire. That was bad. That was really bad. Oh my gosh. That scene in that Punisher is really, really bad. When he just explodes cars and then it's in the shape of the Punisher logo. It's like, dude, come on. Come on, man. You know who also did that? The shitty Ben Affleck Daredevil. It's like, don't do that. Daredevil did it, yeah. That was bad. It was bad. Bad move. Or to quote Hook, bad form. But yeah, the Thomas Jane Punisher movie, it had so little, like, intense violence, and even though people were getting shot and, like, murdered all the time, it wasn't, like, super gory. And then there weren't even cursing that bad. And then just out of absolutely nowhere, it was just like, here's some boobs. And you're like, that's not how you do it. That's not how you make an R-rated movie. Like, that seems really dumb what you've done. Now you understand why my favorite superhero movie is Superman 3. All of these movies are trash. Remember in the 2000s when you could rely on superhero movies to be bad almost as regularly as video game movies? Oh, man. I don't know why I'm starting over here. I should probably... This really doesn't matter, as long as it gets clean. Yeah, Daredevil. Oh boy, Daredevil was bad, dude. I'm always curious about watching bad movies and seeing why people find them bad, and really digging in. And Daredevil was bad. Daredevil was really, really bad. And I haven't even seen the Netflix show, which is apparently really good. But man, I just have sense memory of that Daredevil movie, and it was rough. But Daredevil was necessary to set up Elektra. Ah, yes, that wonderful film that I haven't seen. But I hear, and that's always like one of the excuses, right? But I hear the director's cut of that movie is not that bad. But, you know... I mean, I haven't seen it. Much like I thought the director's cut of Doctor Sleep was really good, but I also read the book and was a fan of The Shining, the book, and the sequel to the book. Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck has a history of being in movies with future romantic partners that are absolute trash. Because he also did the movie Geely, which unbelievably shitty. That is... Oh my gosh. How do you describe Geely? Geely is what happens when someone's like, I could make a Quentin Tarantino movie. And then you watch it and go, you shouldn't make anything. You should be in a home. You should be making macaroni pictures. Like, this is horrible. And offensive and shitty. We gotta get a review of that one. That would mean I'd have to watch it again. Because I don't even... I think I've repressed those memories. I had to take several breaks during Geely. Geely is horrible. Oh my gosh, it's horrible. And it has the guy from The Hangover and National Treasure playing a mentally disabled person. Huh? Sold you yet? Yeah, it's so bad. God, it's so bad. Now I'm like getting annoyed as I'm thinking about Geely. I have to think about something else. What was that movie with a cameo from Christopher Walken? Emerald Kidnapping that got out of hand? You mean Geely? Oh yes, he has that Hollywood version of Tourette's that only manifests compulsive swearing and nothing else. 7 Psychopaths. I've heard that was alright. I haven't actually seen it. But I heard that one was alright. And no, he doesn't have. He does not have Tourette's. He has something. But it's. Oh my gosh, it's really offensive. It's offensive and it's fucked up and not cool. At all. And the character's like obsessed with Baywatch. Like Dustin Hoffman's character from Rain Man was obsessed with Wapner, I think it was. Doesn't it have the line Baywatch made my penis sneeze? Yes, yes it does. It has that excellent piece of writing that you just wrote in the chat right there. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was a bad movie that made me a little angry. Because there's so many bad movies that remind you, like, people that have good movie ideas didn't get their ideas made because this movie had to come out. Driving me nuts. I thought that someone would write something offensive here, but instead they just made a little face and put some flowers up. They think very positively about graffiti artists. Ha ha ha, comedy. Yeah, and also, I mean, one of the conceits of the movie is Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck have to watch this kid, and Ben Affleck wants to have sex with Jennifer Lopez, but Jennifer Lopez is a lesbian. And I believe at one point he says the phrase, you know what, I'm not going to say... I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want people to take that line out of context. But he uses a slur for lesbian as a springboard into a pun that was like, wow, did you guys get a headache from coming up with this? Because, boy, was that some great wordplay and effort by your writing team to come up with this as a phrase. Geely. Absolute trash. And, like, you know, I mean, I've said it before, that there can be bad movies that are fun trash, interesting trash. Like, you can have a movie that is, you know, not the best, but still entertaining. But to be bad, not entertaining, and offensive, like, it's almost like a skill. see some text. I see some hard and heavy text in there. Remember the scene where the ex-girlfriend shows up in the morning, gets cut, and they all go to the hospital, but they all showered and changed their clothes without explanation why during an emergency. They were able to pick up makeup. You weren't entertained by the tale of Ben Affleck's lesbian curing penis? No. And honestly, there's a version of that movie called Chasing Amy that is a little bit better than Geely. But I have a feeling that I think we've talked about it before, that Shadow, you're not a big fan of Kevin Smith. Which is fair. I can understand why he's not everybody's taste. But he did Chasing Amy with Ben Affleck with the same kind of idea. I don't care for Kevin Smith either. Chasing Amy is... I think Chasing Amy is pretty good. That one is like... Because that one happened after Mallrats and before Dogma, I think. And like his big move to make big studio movies was Mallrats, and it tanked. So he's like, well, I guess I'll go back to making indie movies. So he made Chasing Amy, which is just about a comic book artist who meets a woman who he's infatuated with, and then she's a lesbian. And then it turns out she has a bit more of a past than he thought, and it kind of strains their relationship. And I don't know. I thought it was pretty good. Well, that's my opinion. I also enjoy Kevin Smith movies, but I'll be honest, I have not rewatched a Kevin Smith movie in a while, so my tastes may have changed a little bit. Yeah, I will agree with you on that. Even though I've heard Clerks 3 is pretty good and and I think has been described as his magnum opus. And I do want to see it eventually, but I also heard it's a tearjerker, because I think it's about dying and trying to pursue the things you love before you die, and you know. I just don't like his habit of making at least one major character in every movie utterly insufferable. Well, one thing he did do, which I didn't realize how important it was until I got older, he was including, like, gay representation, like, real early. Like, he had gay characters in movies, and they weren't stereotypes early, because one of his siblings is gay, and he's like, look, I'm gonna put characters in movies that represent him, because he doesn't get to see himself in movies ever. And I was like, that's kind of dope. That's kind of a dope move. And he's had all types of gay characters, and none of them, I would say, were very stereotypically gay. But I think Chasing Amy is probably like very relevant now, because it's really about like how much of a person's past do you accept, and how much of that is really your problem, and what is it about them. Yeah. Oh no, I'm not trying to defend him either. I just wanted to point that out because it's something that I remembered about his movies that I'm like, well, at least I can appreciate that. But Shadow, you really hit the nail on the head about his recent shit, where because it became easier to make things, he kind of went into this deep end where it was like, well, then I can make whatever I want when I want to make it. And then he made a bunch of trash for basically no money. And then he tried, from what I remember, he was trying to make sequels to, like, Mallrats, and he was trying to expand some other shit. And I think he just, like, people were like, nah, we're not going to help you with that. We do not see a return on that investment, sir. So, no thank you. Which, you know, kind of a bummer if you wanted to make something and it's technically yours, but still, it's like, ooh, boy. Ooh, boy. Because, you know, I remember when I first watched Tusk, and I remember thinking, like, I don't know if I like this movie or not. Because I didn't think it was bad. And I kind of... He made a main character who was a professional podcaster just like that. Yeah, I don't know, man. Because there was something about Tusk where I was like, okay, if that's all he did, I think it's okay. I think it's cool. Not okay. You can do whatever you want. I'm saying if he had just done Tusk, I would have been like 100% I'm on board. Because it was a crazy idea, but it's also a very unique idea and a very, I think, an interesting horror movie idea and trope of a guy taking someone, forming them into what he wants because he's, you know, that messed up. I kind of dug it. But the second Kevin Smith was like, okay, well, I put my daughter and Johnny Depp's daughter in it. Now we're going to expand the universe with them. You're like, okay, dude, calm the fuck down. Like, okay, hold on. Hold the phone. And supposedly he wanted to make a third movie in that trilogy, and he wanted to kill off Jay and Silent Bob in it. And then that movie didn't get made, and instead he did the Jay and Silent Bob reboot, which was it was whatever. That was my description of it. It's whatever. Yes, the Canadians Say A movie. Local legend, keep winning. Yeah, the people who do graffiti around this tunnel are way too nice. Way too nice. Okay, well now they're gonna... make fun of the mayor a little bit. Jeff Jefferson. I'll dirty this city. Boom. Fuck you, dog. Let's see what the other ones say. So I don't miss out on another one. Oh, we got little monsters up here. Little monsters. Okay, well, this is the same poster, but with a different face. A little more menacing. What is this? Oh, it's a monkey. It's one of the monkeys with the symbols, I think. Maybe it's just beating its chest. I'm not sure. And it has people on the little, you know, helter skelter. Cool, cool, cool. What is this one? Okay, well, we got a cat. Cat situation. Saying some shit. Yeah, it's also... Hi there. I would ask if you would clean my caravan, but I already know your answer is... Lies! Catman. Over 16 million bricks? Holy shit. Of Lego? If we were to pile that up tall, they would extend a staggering 2,137 miles into Earth's atmosphere. Holy shit. Vote dirty. Always. What? Jefferson dirty always? I don't know. I don't know exactly how that's supposed to be read. But, you know. I don't know. Alright. Yeah. Someone really doesn't like Jeff Jefferson. I'm sure I'm like a family that names their kid Jeff. Yeah. I mean that was also that was like the same idea in the Killer Frequency game we played. The mayor is like, what was their, I forgot what their name was. But it was a really stupid name, and it was like the 6th version. That's dumb. Oh. Tunnel wall cleaned, eh? Well, I'll be. I was wondering where they were going to separate the walls. It was going to be all the way down, or it was going to stop, and I guess it does stop at some point. Damn. The ceiling, too? Yes, indeedy. And because it stops at a certain percentage, if you clean well enough, it'll just clear up the last section. Which, of course, is not going to do it for this one. Maybe because I didn't clean it as well as I thought I did. Yeah, I think... I mean, when it comes to... Kevin Smith, you know, it's a dude who really went out and just made what he wanted on his own terms. And then when he gets into older age and finds marijuana, it's like, well, I'm not going to stop doing that. And it's like, yeah, but like some of your ideas are shit now. Some of them are kind of cool. Like, I actually kind of liked Red State. I think the whole thing the whole product wasn't as good as I hoped it would be, but I enjoyed the idea and I dug parts of it. Um, and I thought Tusk was an interesting idea and was kind of fun. But, uh-oh. Are you kidding? Do I have to get... Where else is it dirty? Does that mean I have to get a ladder? Do you mean I have to get a ladder? Is there a step ladder or just... Hold on. That's dumb. That's stupid. That's stupid. I hate you. Anyway. Red State was a horror movie that was kind of like about Waco Siege or something. Well, it was the next step in the idea of the Westboro Baptist Church, which, if you don't know, is the church that protests funerals of dead celebrities, dead service members in America. They basically find a way to protest anything that they know will get a lot of eyes, and they protest by saying that God hates America because we don't murder homosexuals, basically. They're all First Amendment lawyers, like the head. They're not, from what I understand, they're not as active now because I think a lot of their members left because they were getting tired of being spit on and treated like shit because they're horrible, terrible people. But they essentially would protest funerals, and they would protest at big events like Comic-Con and things like that, saying that God kills Americans in natural disasters and at war because we allow homosexuality and sin to continue. And Red State was the continuation of that idea, where the church actually kidnaps and murders gay people. But in this specific instance, they were capturing 3 high school boys who met a woman on the internet that wanted to have I believe the appropriate term, the scientific term is gangbang. She wanted to be in the middle of a sexual experience with 3 gentlemen, and these high school students answered her ad on the internet. Turned out to be a woman part of this church, and they drug them, and then were going to kill them publicly because to have sex with another man present is gay, according to that crazy church in that movie. And it turns into kind of a Waco situation where they also are hoarding guns, so the ATF wants to investigate, and in doing so, because those high school boys are trying to get out, it kind of creates a intense hostage situations. Oh yeah, they were not a big church, and they were really stupid. Like really stupid, terrible people. And eventually some of their big members would leave and talk about what it's like, and they were just attention-seeking, shitty people. Yeah. And they had those very inflammatory signs and phrases that were just there to incite anger. Yeah, they were shitty. They were shitty. They were a shitty group of people, Yeah, I remember I used to listen to a lot of Kevin Smith's podcasts at the time that movie was coming out, man. And boy, they were plugging it like a madman. And they're plugging it with a very specific speech by the main antagonist. It was a pretty good speech. A little long. A little long. But yeah. Red State. And I also think you titled that before the real, like, intense political climate hit, so, like, Red State becoming a thing entirely, you know. Anyways. Church Has Glasses publicly renounces the opinions and thoughts of the Westboro Baptist Church. I feel like I have to say that now, just bringing up their name. Those a-holes. And also, like, any Christian group that goes down to Comic-Con, it's like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Come on. They don't care, all right? They don't care. They want to check out trailers for new movies and new properties that they enjoy. They want to talk about anime, and they want to look at cosplayers and take photos with them. They don't want to talk about Jesus. And you're not going to get anybody by sitting there with a megaphone shouting at people dressed as cartoon characters. Like, it's not going to happen. Oh, tunnel floor is clean. The track. Oh, the track is one piece, eh? Oh, yeah, they do. And they're never like... Well, they are, I'm sure. But, like, I'm talking about the protesters on the outside. Like, you can... I think you should be able... And if you have, like, a comic or whatever, and you are selling it at Comic-Con and you're meeting with the people, you know... Fine, that's allowed. Like, because I'm sure there's comics about other shit that is, like, annoying and I don't agree with. But the fact that you're just sitting outside of it and with a sign and shouting at people dressed like cartoon characters, it's like, dude, obviously they don't give a shit about your opinion. But I'm sure they're there. I am sure that they are there. Because they want to save souls, but hey, if you can make some money on the side, well, what's the deal? But why not? So apparently I am a fourth of the way done. Cool. Oh, let me do this. Let me see if this will work like I hope it will. I don't think it will. Son of a bitch. track. Clean. Oh, man. And also, oh yeah, I don't know if I said it on stream, but I think I said it in the Discord or somewhere else. Maybe it was on stream. But playing those Donald J. What was it? Donald J. What? DJP? Donald J. Parker. Playing those Donald J. Parker trailers, it got me a copyright claim, but not a ban. Were taken down, but I got a copyright like hit on YouTube when I put up the VOD and or the full stream, and it's like, holy shit. Okay, Donald J. Parker. Okay, I see you, dog. I see you. So yeah, I highly doubt I could play the full thing on stream, and I don't want to find out, honestly. Boom, track. 3 tracks are clean. Good grief. Well, I imagine because it wasn't a claim that would get it like banned, because when you post up videos on YouTube and you get one of these warnings, it's kind of like them going, they're okay with you playing it, but just so you understand, you can't make any money off of this video, which I'm not making any money anyway. But I do find it funny that I think it's kind of like the warning shot, where it's just like, hey, don't you start thinking that this shit is free, dog. Like, I love Jesus, and I want his word to be preached to the world, but I also don't want to do that for freezies. You understand me? You pick up what I'm putting down? Jesus, in my opinion, loves capitalism, so... And if I can capitalize off his message, why don't I do it? Oh, this is another thing. This cable. I was making sure everyone's making as little money off his movies as it is. I think we would find out that dude makes a ton of money. I have no doubt in my mind that for how much he probably spends on making those movies, he probably makes a ton of money. The budget to profit ratio is probably next level. Because like he seems like he literally shoots it on a phone. He doesn't do any sound correction. He probably edits it in like iMovie. And he gets all of like the music and shit donated, I would imagine. And then sells it for any price and probably makes a profit. And when we looked at the dude's website, apparently he has a ton of books too. So, yeah, I imagine he's doing just fine in terms of making the money. And because, Christians got to stick together, I'm sure he gets a lot of play on Christian content creators and stuff. I doubt he makes a lot of money from the movies. I think it's more of a vanity project. That's why Asylum still exists. Because I don't think he's making buco bucks, but I think if you set your standards low enough, right, then like any success is a positive. So if he's spending basically nothing and then selling for something, he's coming out on top. And he's coming out on top because he thinks his message is getting out there. But really the only people fucking watching it are people that already agree with him, and unfortunately like their family members that accidentally get that as a gift. Unfortunately get that as a gift. I heard you like movies, so I got you this. It's about a man who goes to college and then starts talking to accredited professors about how evolution is wrong. Doesn't that sound great? No, it sounds fucking terrible. Sounds like some Kevin Sorbo shit that we would hope didn't exist. So I got you this to get you to stop liking movies. Get my brother all of the DJP movies for Christmas. I think my brother would. I think he'd be pretty pissed because my brother Kyle is. You know, I like to think that while I'm like anti-Christian media, I'm not necessarily anti-Christian. I don't appreciate what some people have done to, that faith as an idea. But like my brother has been very staunchly anti the whole thing for quite some time. So I imagine he would be pretty upset if I got that for him. I think he'd be pretty angry if I was like, yo, I got you some DJP. Play that shit on repeat, son. Because not to get into exactly what, but my brother's like partner, she makes actual movies and some pretty damn good ones. So if I were to give him those, I think she even might be like, I don't want to talk to you right now. I make actual films. I make things that people might want to actually see. Why did you get these? Why did you pay money for this? I'm guessing you can't tell us what she's made. Actually, I think I can. She was a producer on a film called Sons of Monarchs, which independent film about a gentleman who is an immigrant working on like the genetic makeup of monarch butterflies in America during the tension of immigration. And goes to Mexico and talks to his family. Family trauma, stuff like that. A lot of it is in Spanish, for obvious reasons. I don't think I could talk about the movie that she's currently working on, so I'm not going to do that. But she was also worked a lot on the HBO show Los Spookies, which I haven't actually watched myself, but I heard was actually very funny. Fred Armisen, I think, produced. I think he's in it too, a little bit. And she's worked on quite a few short films and stuff like that. But also the strike has kind of, put a hold on future projects, as it did for everybody else trying to make some stuff. But yeah, I mean, she makes some pretty good stuff. I think the Sons of Monarchs movie, it's it's slow and contemplative, but I thought it was a pretty damn good movie. It stars a gentleman that may or may not have been accused of some sexual assault type deals, who may or may not be the star of a Marvel movie that recently came out. I don't think it was actually too recent, but that movie I think was good. Sons of Monarchs. I think it's on HBO, actually. I haven't checked that recently, but I think it's on HBO Max. But yeah, she actually works with, like, actual movie studios and has been in the process of making actual movies and films. So I imagine if I gave them a little DJP fun pack, she might end up getting really pissed. No, not at all. Not at all. No, she's doing good. It's also funny because, like, I don't know a lot of people that actually make films, but there is kind of this moment where it's like, it feels weird talking about movies with someone who makes them. Because so many people talk about movies, their opinion of movies, their quality, and they have no idea what goes into making them, And I imagine I'm pretty sure. Yeah, but I doubt she will ever listen to any of our ideas. I mean, our ideas. Like, I fully understand, like, there is a very big difference between the dreams of and the actual workings on, and, but it is very interesting talking to her, and because she's obviously very passionate about making smaller films about people that are underrepresented and stories that are more, that are unconventional and maybe aren't as blockbustery, but are just as valid. And it is funny to talk to her, especially when I will straight up say something like, "Yeah, I watched all the Friday the 13th movies, and it's really boobs, drugs, and then comedy murder." And you're speaking to someone who wants to make a very touching film about the human condition. And it's like, yeah, but have you thought about what Nicolas Cage means to humanity? But, movies, man. The movies. Connects us all. Oh, yeah, you can appreciate it. It's just, I think it is funny, and it's mostly my own, what's the word? It's my own self-consciousness, I'd say, where it's like, oh, you actually make movies? I just watch a ton of them, and not even, like, the good ones. Like, when I'm sitting there, like, do I watch Jacob's Ladder or Babylon AD starring Vin Diesel? Do I watch Gladiator or do I watch Jumper with Hayden Christensen and Samuel Jackson? The movies. Oh my gosh, fucking Mannequin, dude. That movie. My brother tried to explain to me, like, look, Mannequin, you know, I think it just came out at a different time, you know, and it just had, like, kind of like this underground appeal. And I'm like, I don't care. That movie is stupid. The first Mannequin is dumb. And then people will sit there and say, well, the second Mannequin was really bad. And I'm like, yeah, but the first Mannequin is not good. Like, let us agree on something here. And the first Mannequin is not a good movie. It's a very strange, weird movie that I think, well, I guess it's also proof that a company will allow anything to happen and continue if they're making money. Absolutely anything. Because that dude is 100% having sexual relations with a mannequin at the store during store hours, and everybody in that store knows. And that seems not cool. Came out at a different time when banging a mannequin was more socially acceptable. Apparently. But it did have it just had this feeling of like, well, I mean, that's his process, you know? He bangs the mannequin, he makes a display, we make money. Like, I don't see what the problem is. And it's like, well, I don't know. I don't know. I think the sound occasionally cuts out. Or I just get so used to it and so lulled that... Please, 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 please. Balls. Damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Jeez. What the H, man? It's like a tiny section of the wall. If you try hard enough. You can do that with anything. You can say the room is about something if you try hard enough. It's like, yeah, the room is about vanity and what happens when someone who is mentally ill has a ton of money. Where is it, man? You've got to be kidding. What? You can't run with a ladder. That seems dumb. Oh, really? There was that much? It's dumb. I don't like it. I don't like it that you did that to me. Anyway. Mannequin. That was a fun day. The realization of how crazy Mannequin and Mannequin 2 were. Cuz I was misled into thinking that would be a good movie based on a podcast that was shitting on Mannequin 2 and talking about how great Mannequin 1 was. And I was like, okay, well, you know, let's give it a shot. I mean, why not? And just complete disappointment. And just shock. I'm having the most nutritious meal, a cup of noodles and a sunny day. Well, yeah. Sounds like you're ready to attack the Sunday. With a belly full of noodles and sunny daylight. Man, it's almost like, how could this place get this dirty? Like, it doesn't even make sense. How can you let this get this dirty? Oh man, past a third of it. Large one. This is a large project. Oh man. I think of. We started talking about taking a Pelham 123. I remember last time we were doing this. The taking of Pelham 123. There's a new one with John Travolta and Denzel that's based off an older movie with, I think, Robert Shaw and Walter Matthau, and that movie is dope. That movie kind of still holds up. The Denzel one is like, Denzel's good in it, but I think like Denzel is good in everything that he's in, and it's just up to the rest of the movie to be good enough. Which is an interesting state of an actor to be in, where it's just like, look, it's never my fault. I think everyone will agree with that. It is never my fault that this is happening. I bring 110% and usually kill it, and then I let other people destroy it. And I think that's most of the case, most of the time. Just taking a pill in 1, 2, 3, I think John Travolta's pretty cartoonish in it. And doesn't have like the same weight really as, even though there seems to be more at stake in the newer Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3. The older one just feels way more gritty and dirty and crazy. Maybe because the villain isn't a cartoon. He's just a straightforward, insane person. Alright, 35. We're getting there. We are cleaning up this train station. Bum, 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 bum. I just really don't want to have to do spot checks on this thing. Yes. Okay. Oh, man. Almost one whole tunnel. Orange juice with pulp is nasty. I've never been a big orange juice guy, but I imagine the pulp is, like, the last I'd want to do. Last thing I'd want to do. Where's there another one of those things? I know I'm gonna have to. The pulp at least gives you some fiber, though. I thought orange juice is basically as unhealthy as soda. What I do like is the idea that it's basically asking, do you want your orange juice chunky or not? Like peanut butter. Ah, Sunny D, a drink for big boys who ran out of chalky milk. Oh, man. Which also, if I remember correctly, Sunny D is not technically orange juice. Platform ledge. Clean. I'm gonna do a whole stream and not finish this thing. It is decent possibility. This thing is huge. Platform wall. Clean. Boom. Got it. It's pre-made Tang. I haven't had chocolate milk since pre-COVID. Chocolate milk, you know, I enjoy. You guys know that I enjoy my milk. Chocolate milk sometimes just hits the spot. Hits the spot that it needs to hit. And I understand that milk is not everybody's drink, but sometimes it is just exactly what I need. I'm not sure I've ever had chocolate milk, and I barely know what Sunny D is. Well, chocolate milk, as you can imagine, is just milk with a little chocolate flavoring. And Sunny D is like... I thought it wasn't orange juice. I thought it was like orange drink. Where like you can't technically even call it orange juice. Like, I don't know if oranges are even involved in the process of making Sunny D. But I also wasn't a big fan of Sunny D, so I don't know either way. You have Kool-Aid, Flavor Aid, or squash drinks. It's just orange type of that already mixed in jugs. Amazing what just cleaning the door will do to the door. I could have swore like a saw trap was behind this thing, and then you take the dust off, you're like, oh, it's a maintenance closet. Alright. I'm familiar with the concept of those drinks, so yeah, I guess it would take... kind of imagine what that would taste like. I haven't had a Capri Sun in a while. Capri Suns are an interesting drink, because I feel like Capri Suns are dope, but they're also way too small. They are a child-sized drink for a child-size amount, and that's just not cool. Like, I feel like they should make Capri Suns kid at heart size, where it's like, look, I want to pound a Capri Sun and have a lot of it to drink, even though it's probably half sugar, right? That's probably why it's so small. It also allows you to stab your beverage in the little pouch. I feel like Capri Suns only got as famous as they did because they got creative with the packaging. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I remember that they had flavors, and honestly, I don't even remember the difference between them. It has been a long while since I've had a Capri Sun. And what a name. Capri Sun. Like, it might just be my ignorance, but it seems like a name that doesn't mean anything. Boom. Clean wall. Construction began on the Monkey and the Caldera branch line in 1920, funded by local businessman Wilberforce Thrust, who was keen about efficient means for transporting his workforce. Finally unveiled by Mayor Jeff Jefferson X, who tragically passed away the same day. The incident related to this. Oh, wow. Fun. Alrighty. We got ourselves a pretty clean section here. Also, this platform looks like Lego top, which is pretty dope. Short Pants Hydrogen Ball. Short Pants Hydrogen Ball would have been a dope name for a drink company or a type of drink. Another thing I haven't had, Cosmic Brownies. What? Apparently the name referenced the Italian island of Capri, which is a popular holiday destination. I guess they wanted to evoke an idea of a sunny getaway. Well, yeah. Because one thing that I feel when having a Capri Sun, it's a sunny getaway. That is for sure. A sunny getaway. So let's do that right now. Let's see. It's leaving spots. It's leaving spots. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. This is in smaller sections. Sort of. Excuse me? Okay. 40%. Damn. Yeah, it'd be very funny because, like, from what I remember of Capri Sun commercials, it was just like kids enjoying Capri Sun. But it'd be funny if they started making Capri Sun commercials that were geared towards adults. So it was like, hey, don't you want to feel like you're taking a sunny vacation in a beautiful European island, soaking up the sun, out on jet skis, maybe a romantic evening in, or not, maybe a romantic dinner and dancing? Grab a Capri Sun, where you and your loved ones can be transported to a world beyond your financial capabilities. Let's be honest. That's why you're not vacationing in Europe right now. But that's just funny. Just adult-centered Capri Sun commercials. Adult-centered Sunny D commercials. That's what Italian islands taste like. Sugary fruit juice. Oh, that's fun. That's fun. I really actually really like that idea. So okay, we got to do something that seems kind of odd. We're gonna clear up just this section so that I can put the ladder down and take care of that sign while making sure that it's not covering up any areas that need to get clean. Wait a minute now. What is up with that? Is that paint or is that something else? What is it? What is it? Dude, what was those yogurt smoothie things in a small bottle with a monkey? Oh, I forget. Oh, I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember. I've seen a Sicilian movie. I thought the islands taste like salt and sardines. Shit. I know what you're. I know what you're talking about. It was like a. It wasn't yogurt, and it wasn't really just a drink. It was a mixture of the two. Shit. I wish I remembered. And it did have a monkey on it. Oh man. This middle section here. Danimals. Wait, wasn't Danimals more... I thought Danimals were like animal crackers that had like frosting. Or is that's Dunkaroos? Maybe it was Danimals. Before my former roommates moved out, one of them bought a bunch of Dunkables because they saw them at like Costco. And I was like, I don't think I ever had Dunkaroos. And they're like, well, you're going to have some now. And I tried them, and I was like, oh, I can see why kids really dug these, but I'm glad I wasn't raised by them. Alright. So I think I did way more going that way than I should have. Also... Alright, I think I've cleaned up this area enough to get the ladder where I want it. Okay. I learned about Dunkaroos recently. I wish they were a thing here. They sound really fun to eat as a kid. Yeah, it's pretty interesting how, like, the act of eating had to be made fun for children. Like, eating itself wasn't fun. We have to make ways to make it fun and entertaining, or make it somewhat difficult so it, like, takes them a while to actually eat, because maybe that's the only time you get freedom from them, is when they're eating. I just don't want to get over here, and the ladder is still over an area that has dirt on it. That's going to bother the heck out of me. Hold on. Need to make it a little more on this side, I can tell. And clean that up a little bit. Make that a little better. There we go. Now I think we're cooking with gas. Alright. No, F. Alrighty. There we go. There we are. Okay. Let's do the tracks and the lines. One, to ensure that it gets that section of the wall that I forget is counted as the wall. Cable clean. Bumpy. Of course it's gonna be bumpy. The track technically is all the way to the end. Why can't it just be a flat surface that I can walk on? Or walk up against so that I can get all the sections of this track easily. Nope. Gotta make it difficult. We gotta get nooks and crannies. Oh, man. That was like, there was a debate on a TikTok video about Lunchable pizzas, which is something I never really had. I was not a big fan of the Lunchable pizzas, but I guess other people were digging on the Lunchable pizzas. And there was a debate about whether or not you heat them up or not. And I was like, well, like half the point of Lunchables is that you don't got to do dick. You just take it, you just open it up and eat it. So I was like, no, there's no reason to heat up that pizza. No reason to heat up that pizza at all. Like you never heat it. Yeah, like you never heat up the other types of Lunchables, the sandwiches and the whatnot. Why would you heat up the pizza? Like the nacho Lunchables. I did not even know about nacho Lunchables. But I've never been a big fan of nachos, period, so actually kind of makes sense that. What are those Lunchables again? Are those tiny little crackers that come with pre-sliced ham and cheese? Yes. But they're dumb children today. Those kids are the assholes who love charcuterie boards. Yeah, charcuterie is just Lunchables with, you know. Oh, charcuteries. Track clean. Charcuterie comes from the French word for butcher. Don't give me this cheese and cracker plate and call it a butcher board. Where's the beef? Where the beef at? I'll tell you where the beef is. The beef is with Shadow and charcuterie boards, man. That's where that beef is. That's where that beef is stemming from. Boom. Clean track. I do enjoy that, like, charcuterie does give it, like, some air of, like, class when it's just a meat and cheese plate. Something that I think, people have been doing for quite some time. Just you put meat and plate on the cheese and you let people eat it. Like, no, this is a charcuterie board. It's like, okay. So it's a meat and cheese plate. Gosh. I cannot believe this is only how far we're going to get in this level today. That's crazy. It's just crazy. That's the point Jules was making when he told us about Royale with cheese. Need to rewatch that movie. I've only seen it twice, I think. And the first time, I didn't even understand really its importance or impact. I was just like, okay, it's a movie. Pretty cool. Pretty good. And then the second time, I was like, okay. Kind of understanding why it's a big deal, but not really appreciating it. Invent a Kanasi board? I don't know if I'm even saying that right. What the hell is happening with some of the shit on this floor? Why is it just so much tougher than other parts of the floor? A board of bitches? Oh, is that what that is? I don't know if you did, Shadow, but I feel like when you said bingo, you snapped your fingers and did a finger gun. I heard a little water burp there. Where they're like, you mean a board of bitches? Bingo. Well, at least it looks like we're going to get over halfway done. These nips, man. I'm always snapping fingers. finger guns. I also have sunglasses tilted down over my nose. Well, I expect nothing less. I love when you see that happening with people wearing regular glasses, because it's like, oh, you're just doing that so you can't see what you're looking at clearly? Really? Well, I mean, that's reason number 75 why you shouldn't let children near appliances. Because they'll try to do something that could burn down the house. Or hurt themselves, I guess, if you want to go that route. Didn't try to pull a Maniac Mansion, make some hamster meat. Make a hamster board. We have here a fine selection of hamster meat and cheeses. Wait, hamster meat? Yeah, remember when I said that my hamster died? I didn't say it was natural causes. To make this wonderful bounty for us to enjoy. I come from a generation that has eaten Tide Pods in the microwave. Wasn't that bad. Yeah, what a... Well, I think that was one of those myths where it was like only a handful did. And they blame a whole generation. And you're like, okay, well... Previous generations thought green M&Ms made you horny. So, you know, we all weren't batting 1,000 when it came to stupidity in different generations. I think we can, you know, we can chill out on each other there. Mm-hmm. Kids are dumb, but not that dumb. Well, it's like the Satanic Panic from back in the day, or like the D&D panic and shit, where they're like, you know, these kids are they're playing D&D, and then they're communing with Satan. And it's like, well, if Satan's a character, like, we're gonna have to talk to him. Like, you know, it's not because we want to talk to Satan, but if we don't talk to Satan, then we don't continue the story. So, you know, if you got a better way to get through this dungeon, then be my guest. But, you know, it seems like Satan's the way to go. And I wish I knew the guy's name, but there was like a specific instance that they pointed at where they're like, well, what about this kid? He was super smart. He graduated high school early. He got He got into college at like 16, and then he started doing D&D, and then he disappeared. No one knows where he went. Family can't find him. And then like he called the private investigator looking into what happened, and he's like, "Yeah, so I discovered cocaine, and I'm also gay, and I couldn't tell my family or anyone about it. So I started doing a ton of drugs and just kind of bounced." And they're like, "What about D&D?" He's like, "Yeah, I played a little D&D. What's the problem?" And I was like, "Yeah, you see, guys, everybody's gotta chill the hell out." You mean Tom Hanks in Mazes and Monsters? I want to get the floor done. I want to get the floor done first because the floor bothers me. That looks like shit. It's brown. Yep, I think there's shit on the floor. Cool. A lot of the Satanic Panic was Oprah's fault. It wouldn't have gotten nearly as big if she hadn't had a platform. Yeah, I don't think it. What did Oprah do a show? I don't remember it, but I know other people did. It's the Satan. Your kids are communing with Satan when they play D&D. It's like, yeah, we're not, but okay. Is Mr. Hanky down here? Why is there like just shit brown stains that do not come up easily? Yeah, but Oprah had that guy who wrote Michelle Remembers on her show. I took him seriously. Later the PTO. What? Really? You gotta take that D&D shit underground, bro. Can't have it school sanctioned. And you want to encourage D&D. D&D is just a creative, like, way to... It's just a way to engage your mind in a creative way. Like, I don't understand. I can understand if you think it's going to distract from schoolwork, but it's like, dude, if you have a club that meets after school, not during classes, in a productive, proactive thing... Teaches like math, problem-solving skills, cooperation. It's not a bad thing, man. Everybody, come on. I could see it being banned because of distraction. Because that's why Pokemon cards were banned when I was in school. Because they're like, it's becoming a distraction. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. We don't give a shit about this math stuff, but we certainly care about them Pokemon cards. The playing cards provoked gambling? Whoa, 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 whoa. What happens when your fingers get off the right keys? Alright. Gosh, what the hell? What is this crap all over the floor? God, I really don't want to spot check this floor. I have a feeling that's going to happen now, regardless. There's a shit like this where there's just barely visible stains. How to read body language. Well, I think the gambling thing, like, because there is a lesson in responsibility when it comes to gambling. And the thing that they're worried about is, like, kids possibly discovering, like, a gambling addiction. And I think that's when you start the, not the treatment, but you start working on that immediately. When you start to notice, like, huh, what is it with this guy? Like, got really into the gambling, and now he doesn't have any of his money or his candy. It's like, oh, well, seems like he probably has the makings of a gambling problem. You should get on top of that right now, so that they don't end up, you know, betting everything they own and living out of their car when they're old enough to have income. But yeah, gambling. I'm, as I'm sure you can tell from the streams that I've done, I'm more of a pessimist. And gambling is not something I like to do. To me, it's just potentially losing money that I already own, so why would I do that? Oh, because you could win more money. It's like, yeah, or I can just keep the money I have, because that money is mine. Like, that's how I see it. track floor. Teachers also don't want to be the intermediaries for dumb kids accusing them others about bets. Gambling is super boring. It's like doing taxes. And yeah, and then like problem gamblers, they talk about like the rush, and I'm like, to me, there's no rush. It's just anxiety because I'm potentially losing money, which is not something I want to do. Like, I have a buddy who gambles a fair amount, and they just are like, yeah, you know, I was down a couple $100, and it's like, even if you have the discretionary income to do that, it just seems irresponsible. It's like, no, sir, that's not happening with me. If I can end with not having to do this floor. Yeah. I'm hoping I do not have to do a spot check on this floor, because it's so big. Oh, it's such a big floor, and there's so many little spots. Oh, thank you, Lord. I looked at some fantasy football website. I saw multiple typos on their terms of service. I wouldn't trust any of those. Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Also, their advertisement is always like, you know that you could potentially win millions of dollars doing this? And I'm like, yeah, that means you also have the potential to lose tons of money doing this. It's a gamble, dude. And how, much like with cigarettes, now those gambling advertisements have to include the like, by the way, if you have a problem, make sure to check out blah, 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 to blah, blah, blah. The experts in getting you to stop your gambling addiction. And it's like, yeah, I don't trust your product then. If your product has a built-in, hey, in case you can't handle our product like an adult, disclaimer, don't do it. I remember I did a Batman, the television show with Adam West slot machine, and that was kind of fun. But then again, I was not ready to burn a ton of money on that. Business is built on crookery. Got the cable. Tunnel light. Tunnel light. Don't know why I wanted to do that, just did. Yeah, I've never been never been one to bet. I don't like betting. I don't like it. And I get very uncomfortable around people that are so quick to bet. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're hanging out with someone or you see somebody on a video that's just like, how about we put a wager? And it's on something that's like a board game or something, and you're like, dude, come on. I don't know why. I don't know what it says about my brain. But the movie 8mm just came to my brain. Starring Nicolas Cage and Joaquin Phoenix. A private investigator who gets asked by a rich woman whose husband just died to look into a videotape that the husband had in like his secret possessions that looked like a videotape of a woman just being murdered. Lots of people seem to dislike that one, but I really enjoyed it. I was told by a homie, because I enjoy the Nicolas Cage. I was like, oh, I like that one. They're like, yo, you'll like that one, dude. You'll like it. And I watched it, and I was like, you know, it's all right. It's not my fave. I can see why it has folks that really like it. I can see why it kind of broke the mold. It's a little intense, a little out there. But, and I also enjoyed, because obviously there's a guy who commits murder in it. And spoiler alert if you haven't seen 8mm, there's a part where Nicolas Cage basically like takes off this mask that the guy is wearing, and then he goes, "What, were you expecting a monster?" And it was like, yeah, just that moment of like, oh yeah, regular human beings commit horrible, horrible acts. And I think that was kind of like the point of the movie. But yeah, that part stuck with me. But I don't know why I started thinking about that movie just now. I don't really know what connected to it. Because we were talking about nudity in film, titillation in film. I like the scene in 8mm where the kids were involved in the train crash. I thought JJ... Oh, you rapscallion. That movie, Super 8, that's a great movie about how, like, you can make a pretty decent, straightforward movie that will just get forgot to time. Because, like, Super 8, I remember really liking in the theaters, and then it showed up on Netflix one day, and I was like, I forgot this movie even existed. And there are movies that can be good to you at the time, but they just don't have the staying power in your brain. And I think Super 8 kind of does that. Bum, 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 bum. So yeah. Oh, I rewatched it recently and started off great. Well, it does that thing that I think some movies do that I don't think they realize, like, how it deflates the movie, where they show the monster too early. Because it is, you're right, Felix is right, it's very, you know, like pre-Stranger Things, 80s nostalgia, monster, kids, government cover-up, aliens, things. But, like, there's a clear moment in the movie where it's like, okay, and now we show the monster. And then right after they do that, you're like, okay. Like, and that's kind of just my reaction to it. Because I remember the setup for that movie and the trailers and I think they had like a playable demo. I don't know if you remember this. There was like a playable game demo of the train crash from Super 8, where you get to play as someone inside the train, and there were clues about what the movie was going to be like. And then the plane crashes, and your character gets up and walks, walks through the train wreckage, and then discovers where the cage is, and then the cage is open, and then there's like a noise, and you realize, oh shit, whatever's in that cage is now out. And it was a really good, non-traditional way to market, like, oh shit, this movie is probably going to be pretty dope. And it got people involved that were into video games. And then the movie was like, pretty good, all right, whatever, and then just lost to memory. Like, I don't know anybody who owns it. I don't know anybody who's like, oh my gosh, I love that movie. I watch it all the time. It's just kind of like, some movie that we saw. Yeah. Oh, Chronicle. Yeah, I need to watch Chronicle. I saw that on, I think it was Amazon. I added it to the list because I heard it was great, but it also does the same thing where it's like, I don't know anybody that watches that stuff now. But I think it kind of jump-started the careers of a couple actors, which is always fun. So, wall clean. Josh Trank. Who's Josh Trank? Yeah, I know that it's kind of like a take on the superhero thing. Isn't Michael B. Jordan in that too? Was it Michael B. Jordan? Yeah, Michael B. Jordan, baby. Pretty good actor. Josh Trank made Chronicle, which made him famous, and then he made terrible Fantastic Four movie. Oh, that sucks. That's kind of like David Ayer. I didn't listen to the interview, but he did an interview on a podcast and he talked about the Suicide Squad debacle, and that made me feel fucking sad for that guy. Because that guy made some good shit. I think he made Training Day, which is a great movie. He made End of Watch, and he makes like these really like close personal stories. And then they signed him on to do Suicide Squad, and he had an idea of what he wanted, and then they just basically like came back and said, "You got to change all of this because we're gonna lose to Marvel." And it's like, yeah, you're gonna lose to Marvel no matter what anyway. You might as well lose with some identity and some like effort. And oh boy, we don't need to get into that. Enough podcasts and streamers and reviewers have already gotten into that. We just feel bad for him because it's like, that dude seems like a straightforward, like, cause I want to make a certain kind of movie, signed on to make a certain kind of movie, and then they're like, no, change it. And it's like, well, when you do that, you're already fucking up a little bit. You're already fucking it up. And no offense to Josh Trank. He has a very interesting name. Because I want to say Josh Tank, even though I know it's wrong. Gosh, it's already noon. Play for a little bit more. Then I gotta go. Lunch and other duties. I do want to get this to like 60%. I want to guarantee that I will finish this the next time I play this game. Because I don't want to keep being in here forever. Max Landis? Ooh. Oh, fuck Max Landis, dude. Also, once again, easy to be a writer when your dad's a decent one. And made some money in the business. Nothing like a little nepotism to start your career in Hollywood. Nothing like a little nepotism to start that career in Hollywood. Oh yes, that was the other problem. Also, what was that? Isn't there a guy in that played the Green Goblin in Amazing Spider-Man? He was also in like The Cure for Wellness. Is it like Dane DeHaan or some shit? That guy was a pretty decent actor in some stuff. He has like the perfect face for, like, horror. Looks like he's always up to something. Speaking of young actors with certain faces, I know it's a while from now, and you really don't need me to tell you, but don't go see the Willy Wonka movie. Just don't see it. Don't see it. I know that we're really not going to movies anyway, unless there's, like, some crazy hype behind it. But I don't think anyone should see this Willy Wonka movie. Just don't see it. Just don't see it. I'm sure I will find myself on a depressing night, seeing it on a streaming service somewhere a couple months from now. Choose again, falling off. There's a lot of corruption in this town. A lot of corruption. I wonder... I'm not going to do this, because as I'm thinking about it now, I think it would be kind of crazy. But imagine doing 24 hours of this. Just non-stop PowerWash simulator. Think of the action. Never-ending PowerWash simulator. Think of the water we'll waste. Digital water. It's not real water, obviously. A lot of spots, but hopefully no spot checking needed. Oh, that's the same car. Oh, I remember now. This is the same car that I cleaned up earlier. It was in the movie Driving Me Nuts. Oh, they really never even updated these signs from that long ago either. Dun, 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 dun. Problematic movies. Really sucks that, because like so many people work on a movie, you know, so many unsung heroes.
and then one guy who really has, like, really everything to lose. He just fucks it up for so many people making that movie. Or you have a situation like Batgirl, where a whole movie is made. They have it. It's done. And they're just deciding, no, we're not going to release it. And it's like, why? Because now, like, even if it's bad, you've already gotten so much bad. What is one more bad thing going to do? Especially because it's like, people fucking worked on that shit, and they could be proud of what they did if it's still bad. And you know what? The movie's bad, but I dressed the hell out of that set. Or I did a pretty damn good job on this makeup. I did this, I did that. It's like, you can't even celebrate that now. The movie's just not out. And nobody will see it. That doesn't seem cool. Even if it's bad. We got to see The Flash, and it's not, I mean, I thought that wasn't that bad, but still, it's like, parts of it are pretty bad. Like, some of that CGI is, oh boy. And to say it's a choice is like, oh man, it, in a way it kind of better be, but damn. There we are. Ooh. I keep changing the goalpost because I'm so enjoying it, but it's like, I want to get to 66%. I guess 67, so I know I've done 2/3. I am hungry. I do want to eat at some point. Boom. There it is, baby. My goodness gracious. What's, if anyone is still here, I may have lulled you to sleep. What's everybody's plan for the rest of their Sunday? I'm gonna have lunch with my brother, actually. And then I gotta do some errands. And I gotta work out the future of some stuff on the stream. I think I cleaned this in reverse order. I did the middle first and then the sides. Yeah. Nothing scheduled? Alright. Maybe some movies then. That's what I think I'm going to do while I'm working on some stuff for the stream and the podcast. I need to put some movies on in the background. Where am I? Probably video games. That's always a good move. I've already seen a couple movies. I'm assuming some with gratuitous nudity and gore. 'Cause that's just your style. Hostel, Hostel 2. Other things like Hostel. Dogtown and Z-Boys and Blythe Spirit. Oh. Dogtown and Z-Boys I have not watched, but I've heard good things. Yep, got the pain in my butt. Got the butt pain. Got the been sitting too long butt pain. Wait a minute. Not the right song? The wrong playlist. I gotta get that fixed. That's something for tomorrow night. Which tomorrow night? I think I'm gonna start previewing the movie. That's gonna be happening on Mondays. Give you a heads up on what the movie is for tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be I think it's a war-based movie called A Boy, a Girl, and a Dog. I think it's about a boy and a girl that feel compelled to go to war, and this man gives them like things to do that'll help with the war effort. And apparently it's supposed to be cute and fun, and I hope it's nothing possibly offensive that would pass for okay back in the days it was made. But tomorrow, it's a boy, a girl, and a dog. Here on Kirk Has Glasses for the Monday night movie. And like I mentioned before, the next couple weeks are picked out. And I believe that's one of the things I got to work on today. I got to work out some horror movies for the spooky season. But, Squirtle, you mentioned that you're going to play some video games. What video games do you plan on playing? More Tetris? Plan on getting your Tetris game up a little bit? Tetris, Limbo, and some other puzzle games. Alright. Solid. You don't have to play Tetris. I was mostly joking. Oh wow, this movie looks super cute. Yeah, I found a very big archive of just public domain movies, but their availability is like super questionable. And when I saw that one, I was like, well, what is this about? And then when I looked it up, and I was like, that has the potential to be super cute, but then something sneakily messed up can come in that can really screw me over. I actually play regularly on my phone. Yeah, I don't like playing Tetris on my phone. I like playing Tetris when I have a controller. I don't know if that makes me old. I don't know. It makes me out of it or out of touch, but I don't like Tetris without a controller. And with touchscreen Tetris, I don't know. I can still play it. Like if it turns out I gotta wait somewhere for a while, and my phone has a good battery charge, I'll throw on some Tetris. But I just don't like it as much as, you know, a Tetris with controller. Now I feel like I should go until it's 69 just so I can go nice. Alright, we're already at 68. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, I walked under a ladder. I'm gonna have 7 years of digital bad luck. There we go. Like, son of a bitch wall. Right. Into 69. 69. Then we're gonna call it quits, I promise. I've done enough digital cleaning today. What did I get stuck on? 69, dudes. Boom. 69. Oh, man. Well, we did make some progress. We did make quite a bit of progress. I do say so myself. Alrighty, well, thank you everybody who showed up for the stream today. I appreciate it. Shadow and Squirtle and Felix and anybody in the background just chilling. Past Tense was here for a bit. Anybody else that was just chilling in the background, I appreciate it. I hope you have yourself a good rest of your Sunday. Just as a reminder, I will be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. That's the planned time. If work gets pushed back, it'll be a little bit later, but 7 p.m. is always the plan. And, yeah, the movie will be A Boy, a Girl, and a Dog. And Shadow has expressed that it looks kind of cute. So hopefully I'll catch you then. Also, Wednesday, we got more On Guard coming up. I think with the amount of content in that game, I think this Wednesday will probably be the last of the story mode, at least. I think there's only 4 missions, and they're pretty short. So On Guard will be for at least 1 more week. And then I'll probably set up a Tetris or Clone Drone stream the Wednesday after that. And then, like I said before, October is going to be horror-based games and horror-based movies. So I'll be looking for games and movies to play during that month. But like I said, you know, things are coming down the pike. Also, please join the Discord. The link is in the description on Twitch. There's a link to the Discord. There's a link to the Extra Life page where I will be playing 24 hours of video games to raise money for kids in need. So hopefully, you know, it's only a $750 goal this year. I think it was the same as last year, which we did not meet, which is nobody's fault. You know, raising any amount of money for those kids is cool with me, man. So yeah, I've now gone past 69%, and now I just want to finish this roof because I'm a little OCD about it. Oh my gosh, this is not a good game for someone like me. Actually, it's a great game for someone like me. It's not a good game to end for someone like me. And the schedule. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Pacific time. Sundays at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And Wednesdays, oh, I already said Wednesdays. Wednesdays at 8, Sundays at 9 a.m., and then Mondays at 7 p.m. Pacific time. I don't know if I screwed up the entire schedule just now. I'm distracted by getting this ceiling finished. There we go, so we can end on a ding. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. Have a good one. Enjoy your video games and your movies. And whatever your Sunday has in store for you, hopefully I will catch you tomorrow for A Boy, a Girl, and His Dog. Peace, everybody.